Hello, everybody. Welcome to Drive Thru. I'm your host, Tony T. As we broadcast live here on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel and throughout social media. We will get you out here well before the top of the hour. Give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime game. And that's what we do here on the Drive Thru, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And serve our live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And deliver those winners, our professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us here for today. All right, with us, we got Chris Ruffolo with us. Big Al McMordie. It's Wednesdays with Mitch. We got Dana Lane signing at the bottom of the hour. Rod should be signing momentarily. And we got Wayne Scott. Here's how they'll line up this evening with Ruffolo, Mitch, McMordie, Scott, Zawacky, Lane, and then I close this one out. All right. Still today, last day of the NBA All-Star break. Tomorrow we get a 12-game card. Also, exhibition baseball tomorrow begins Dodgers-Padres. Also, we've got hockey on the board tonight. Lots of college hoops, so let's get this show underway. Let's welcome in Chris Ruffolo. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring in Chris right now with some college basketball action from that Mountain West Conference. Very competitive, well, as usual. It's been a competitive league this year, so we'll bring in Chris right now. Ready to roll with Chris. Chris, what's happening?
Not much, Tony. Yeah, like you said, a lot of the conferences are trying to get a lot more competitive as we get later on in the season, but the Mountain West has been exceptionally tough this season.
It certainly has, and some of the top teams have had really success at home. And here's as you can see with this line here in New Mexico, it's been historically tough to win there at the pit. It's been done this year by a team, unlikely team, but it's been done. New Mexico here laying 8, total 157.
Yeah, been done by a couple unlikely teams, Boise State and UNLV, and it's coming back-to-back home games for New Mexico, but I think this is a spot where they right the ship. I mean, don't get me wrong, Colorado State is a solid team. They've got Isaiah Stevens, some solid guard play. But like you said, Tony, the pit is one of the toughest places to go on the road and win in college basketball. It's just one of the toughest road environments for any team going to cover, let alone win outright. And as much as I like Colorado State, they haven't necessarily been at their best on the road in conference play. New Mexico, yeah, like I said, they struggled. They stumbled in a couple of spots as of late at home. But keep in mind, this is still a New Mexico team that's also beat up on some pretty good teams at the pit as well this season in conference play. They put up 99 on Utah State in a double-digit win. They beat Nevada by 34. They took that San Diego State vaunted defense and beat them by 18. They put up 88 on San Diego State. It's a different New Mexico team at home. They got a loaded team: JT Toppin, Donovan Dent, Jamal Mashburn Jr. This is a really, really good New Mexico team, and I think they get the win and cover here at home. Wouldn't surprise me if they beat them up. Another team they beat up by double digits, so I'm going to take New Mexico. I'm going to lay the points here.
All right, Chris says New Mexico lay the points in this one. We're looking at 7.5. So the sharpest book in the world has it at 8. Everybody else 7.5. So Chris is with the sharp money. You can find 7.5 just about everywhere now, guys. Chris here on New Mexico laying the 7.5. Yeah, Colorado State again has not been able, as you mentioned here, to really get the wins on the road. They've lost by margin in their road games at San Diego State, Nevada, and Boise State this year.
Yeah, the road, like you said, the road hasn't been kind to against the better teams that they've played in a couple of spots, like you said, Nevada and San Diego State. They also took the overtime loss at Wyoming, but we know that weird things happen in Laramie. But yeah, it hasn't been kind to Colorado State on the road in conference, that's for sure.
Not at all here. Chris here with New Mexico laying the 7.5 here against Colorado State. We'll get some games. We'll start from the late card here. We'll go Mitch with the early card. We're going to have coverage on UNLV Air Force a little later in the show. And, of course, we've got our friends from the Pacific Pacific in action. You get Pepperdine laying 7. Boy, when Pepperdine lays this much on the road, Pacific's got to be really down this year. Pepperdine laying 7.5 on the road against UOP.
Oh, jeez, Tony, this is one of the trash man specials. I mean, this game is brutal. To be honest, I would probably lean towards Pepperdine if anything, but Pepperdine they've been no prize pick themselves. But like you said, Pacific's been that bad that it doesn't surprise me that Pepperdine's laying 7.5 on the road.
Yeah, big line in this one. We're covering this game. Of course, there's another one right there. Big Al will cover that one. Kentucky and LSU here, 9 Eastern time. We got Kentucky on the road laying 6. Total sits here 163.5.
Yeah, I like the over here. I lean towards Kentucky if I had to pick a side here, but Kentucky, the problem has been defense. I mean, they've allowed teams to put up 80 points with regularity, but so has LSU. They've given up 100 points, I think, at home. I think they gave up 109 to Alabama, I believe it was. They gave up a bunch of points left and right in conference play. Matt McMahon's done a good job doubling their conference win total from last year, but when it was 2, it really doesn't say a whole lot. So I lean towards Kentucky, but I think I like the over better in that one.
Chris Luck in the over better in this game. Here we go, Nebraska and Indiana. Nebraska has yet to win a road game this year in conference. Indiana at home laying 2, a total 148.
Yeah, I like Nebraska here. I know Big Ten home courts ruled the roost for a lot of the season, but Indiana, I think they're just playing out the string. I know Mike Woodson, normally a guy that could probably get his guys fired up and ready to go for a game, but this might be the best Nebraska team that Fred Hoiberg's had since he came to Lincoln, and Nebraska looking to strengthen that NCAA tournament resume, and a loss, at Assembly Hall, I think would still do a little bit of damage here. So I like Nebraska on the money line in that one.
All right, Chris, let's go Nebraska and the money line in that one tonight there, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Interesting one tonight. We'll come back to this game here. We pass it up here. Let's go back here. This one was in this draw. And Charlotte here at Memphis. Memphis, they lay in here 6.5. We see the total 149.
Yeah, I like Charlotte in the points. I know that Memphis has a solid team on paper, but that hasn't stopped Memphis from doing exactly what they did last year, which was have a talented roster that disappointed. I mean, they're 2-10 against the number at home this season. Charlotte, surprisingly, I think they're 11-1 in the AAC so far, and they've been one of the crazier stories of any college basketball conference, and same thing with USF, but I think I got to take Charlotte here to at least keep this one close. They have a great defense that can keep them in this game, and I like the 6.5 points in my back pocket.
6.5 points there with Charlotte. All right, Providence and Xavier, some Big East action on CBS Sports Network, 8 Eastern time. Xavier going to be laying 5 in this one, total 153.5.
I think another one where I got to have the dog. Providence 8-2 is a dog this season. 5-2 against the number is a road dog. Both these teams I think could definitely use a win, but I think Providence needs a win to boost a resume. I think right now they're one of the last 4 buys, or one of the last 4 ins. So again, another loss to Xavier on the road would be more detrimental than a help, obviously. So I think Providence puts out a full 40-minute effort. I think they give themselves a shot to win this one outright.
There you go, there with the underdog there, and of course, team. This South Florida team, we saw them actually get the job done in a recent game here. This South Florida team shows they can do some work here. They're going to be on the road here, favored heavily against UTSA.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Tony. This was one I stayed away from. I was initially looking at South Florida, but this sets up to be the letdown of letdown spots. You got USF coming off the win over FAU. Going to a sleepy spot against UTSA team that really hasn't done much of anything this year. It sets up as a tough spot for me. Like I said, I initially liked USF, but then they said the letdown factor kind of crept in, and I kind of stayed away from it.
Yeah, letdown factor after that big win there, no doubt, against that big win there for the team there. It's been seeing some big lines coming in here today. Wolford, Chattanooga, big. Florida, Alabama here. It's a good one tonight, but it's a big line here. 10 here. A lot of people looking at this total now, 173.
Yeah, as did I, and I think if I looked at the total, I was looking at the over. Maybe it's a square play, but these are still 2 teams that can fill it up. And we talked about Alabama, what they did against LSU. I think it's like 6 or 7 games this season where they've scored at least 100 points. A lot of them have come at home. Lead the country in adjusted offensive efficiency, but Florida's top 10 in adjusted offensive efficiency as well, so they can pour it in. But I think I liked Alabama for a side when it was at 8.5. 10 scares me off the side, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, big number there, no doubt about that. All right, St. John's up at Tino here. Can he get the thing going right here? Had a little mental breakdown there. St. John's here on the road, laying 10, total 149.5.
Yeah, Tony, another one that I kind of wean myself off of. I think if you had given this line to me at the beginning of conference play, I probably would have taken St. John's. But after the meltdown, it would make sense if St. John's came out and blew out Georgetown, but St. John's has been so bad. I maybe lean towards Georgetown in that one.
Lean there on the home dog. Dayton and George Mason going head-to-head. Dayton road favorites 4, total 133.5.
Yeah, I think with the line move, I maybe have to lean towards George Mason. I initially liked Dayton when it was around 2.5, but George Mason getting 4 now. I think this sets up as a one possession game, defensive battle. So I like the under 133.5 too. But I'll take the Patriots plus the 4 points.
And there you go from Chris here tonight. big action here in college hoops. We'll have more coverage here this afternoon. Later in the show, as Mitch is going to come up here with one between Duke and Florida and Miami, Florida. That will be Mitch's pick. We'll get some more plays from Mitch a little in the next segment. All right, Chris on record. New Mexico latest 7.5 against Colorado State tonight, 7 Eastern time. Sorry, tonight action, late night action tonight. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for tonight's action. Of course, college hoops on the board tonight. We got a few on the ice. NBA returning tomorrow. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I got a $19 best bet from College Hoops. Got an NHL Power Play. And that $19 College Hoops play also part of my Wednesday College Hoops 3-point play. But the best value, hopping on a long-term pass. I got some bonus plays in there if you jump on a long-term pass tonight. Whether it's just with me or you pair me up with someone else as part of the multi-capper promotion. Tons of options for you at Pick Dogs. Take advantage of them.
That's right, guys. I get up over here with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. Remember the long-term pass of the best way to roll here. Use promo code PICK at checkout. Save that 15% off. You can also find a multi-capper promotion giving you even greater value there as well. All right, Chris, as always, great having you on the show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week. But a lot of content you put over up at Pick Dogs. We catch your video series with you around the league from the NHL as well as your individual picks.
Yeah, tons of content. The daily previews, like you said, I got the wraparound. Love what I'm doing here at Pick Dogs. Love giving out winners. It's been a rough last couple days, but I think that means you just get back on the horse. A hot streak coming up very, very soon. So definitely make sure that you have that notification bell hit so that when the newest content drops here at Pick Dogs, you guys are the first ones to be in the know.
That's right, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit those notifications so when these videos drop, you get them right away. Get notified of our live broadcast as well. All right, Chris, have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Sounds good, Tony. Take care.
You as well. Chris Ruffolo here on The Drive, dude. Let's continue on more college basketball talk and picks here from Mitch. We'll bring him in right now. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs. We're back in the studio. We'll bring Mitch in here in just a second because you know we were covering tonight. We just told you in the prior segment it's this Duke and Miami game. So Mitch will be coming in here with the pick. Mitch, what's happening?
Just get rolling back in. I've been home for about less than an hour, so ready to take a shower and crash.
There you go, indeed. All right, well, we got one here tonight as Miami of Florida in action against Duke here. The Duke are now up to 7 on the road, total 148.
Yeah, Nigel Pack and Cleveland also looking like he might not make it to the court for this one against Duke. But one thing we've seen historically is that Miami always steps up to the plate against Duke, regardless of how good or bad the team is. It's been a miserable spot for Duke over the years, and I think it's going to be another miserable spot for them again here. I think Miami, we saw them go down big against North Carolina in that game there. But, outside of that, they came all the way back. They just missed, but they at least covered the spread in that one. I think they at least cover the spread here. Miami's been fairly competitive, at least in their home games. On the road is where they really have had some problems scoring really, really low numbers. And, with Pack out, and if Cleveland doesn't make it, well, then, they're certainly going to be missing some offense. But I think, we saw how they played against North Carolina and Miami, and I think North Carolina presents a lot of challenges that Duke doesn't present. And I think Miami doesn't have a true big man. And I think, we're starting to see that this year. I mean, clearly, it's going to take a win in the ACC tournament for Miami to return to the dance. But I think this game is a chance to show they do have what it takes to do that, to make a run in the ACC tournament. And I look for Miami to give Duke a hard time here, if not win outright, at least cover this generous spread. And like you said, I'm seeing 7s and a halves out there.
Yeah, we've seen it at 7.5. Yeah, this might be mentioned. This Miami team, much different at home. Really good shooting team, about 49%. They did cover. They were 4-point dogs at North Carolina. Got the money there. 7-point dogs here. They definitely are live.
Yeah, I'd say so. I know Nigel Pack is, he's probably their best player. He hasn't had the best season, but, and Cleveland, great transfer from Florida State. But I think that the Canes are definitely live dog in this one.
All right, Mitch here on the game. The pick here today will be on Miami, now up to 7, some 7.5. So you're line shopping and get the best number if you can. All right, Mitch, we'll take a look at some of the games here coming up a little early, up at the top of the hour. We'll see what we have here at this hour. Illinois, Penn State, we're going head-to-head here, 6:30 Eastern time. Bottom of the hour here, we see Penn State, the dog here. Illinois, 7.5, total 155.5.
I think a lot of these games you try and find some value with a home dog. I just don't think this is one of those spots. I think Penn State is running out of gas. and they kind of give me gas. We saw the last year they were a tournament team. This year, they're just bunching together losses here to close out the season. They went on a little bit of a nice run there. We've seen them step up to the plate at times, but really they're on the business end of a beatdown in this one. I think Illinois has got every single statistical category on them here.
All right, there, Mitch. They're looking here at this one tonight. Also, we were actually to the not much in the way of quality. We got it covered for you guys already here in college hoops. So we got some games in action. I was asking some of the cappers, Mitch, during the NBA break if there was if you saw any value here on conference winners. Boy, we see the big favorite here with Boston plus 115, Bucks $3. But then you look at the remainder of the teams, 7-1 or greater to get out of the East.
There's tons of value there. Boston sucks. We all know it. It's like in the big game, they are lazy and overrated, and it's a bad combination, especially in playoff basketball. We've seen them, in that last homestand just show how vulnerable they are. And you have to remember, all it takes is one road win by the lower seed to take home field advantage from a team, even if they had the best record in the entire NBA. So I think there's always value betting against them, and I think we've seen in recent years that the number one seed, especially in the Eastern Conference, has not been the team that comes out. So it's in fact, it hasn't even been close. So I think there's a lot more value down there, and especially if Joel Embiid can get back, the Sixers I think will create some value there as well, and of course the Miami Heat, who play their best basketball once the playoffs start.
Yeah, here are your odds to win the East. Sixers 12-1, Heat 13-1, Pacers 35-1.
Pacers are a little long. You have to play defense to win the playoffs. There's never been like a pure just offensive show team to win any sport. So I think you have to play defense to win championships. There
you go. Of course, in the West, we've got the Clippers and Nuggets about 250, 2.5-1 to get out of the West. Long shots 6.5 or 1 or greater would include teams like the Suns. The T-Wolves 8.5-1, Thunder 9.5-1, Lakers 14. Mavs 14-1, Warriors 19-1, Pelicans 22-1 to get out of the West.
For me, it's like if I'm going to go value hunting in the West and go against the Nuggets, I certainly wouldn't be betting on the Clippers. But if I was going to go against the Nuggets, I would go for been there, done that. Lakers, Warriors, boring as it sounds.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you're a hedger, because if you're at 14-1, 19-1, you get one of those teams there in the Western Conference Finals, you can hedge a little bit off those big numbers.
Yep, absolutely.
There you go. All right, Mitch here on Miami. Plus 6.5 against Duke, top of the hour, ESPN. You knew it was going to be on ESPN. All right, Mitch. Let everybody know what's happening over at Big Dog Sports Chat Place. March Madness not too far away.
I'm just really excited. Our cappers, have started the year red hot. We're almost to the end of February, and they're still cranking right along. Not winning every game every day, but we're honestly winning, and that is the most important part. That our records are real because they're transparent. We show you all the picks that all of our handicappers make every single day. And, of course, we also have the credit guarantee, so we stand behind our picks. So I'm really excited about it, and, I think that, the biggest and best is yet to come. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but, you guys will see it when you see it, and I think you'll be extremely excited about it, as excited as I am. But anyways, like I said, I'd rather sit here and pump all the other cappers. It's like, if you want my picks, you can get those there as well.
You got it right, Mitch. As always, great having you show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you on Drive Thru next week.
All right. Thanks, Tony.
You got it. Mitch here on the Drive Thru. Let's continue on here. Up next, more college hoops action. Big Al McMordie. Catch him over at Pick Dogs. We'll find out more about his All Access here, his video series as well here on the channel. Big Al, how's it going?
Sorry, muted myself. Hi, Tony. That was my favorite handicapper doing today.
Appreciate it. Doing great this afternoon. Some sunshine finally in SoCal.
Finally,
right? Yeah. Hoping get out of your house with these roads. The hillsides out there are kind of a little shaky out there. But anyway, rivalry game tonight between Ole Miss and Miss State. We see Mississippi State favored 6.5, total 141.
Yeah. Both teams, Tony, they're 6-6 in SEC conference play. And interestingly, both teams come into this game off straight-up home wins as 11.5-point favorites, where they didn't cover the spread. Ole Miss was favored by 11.5 against Missouri. They only won by 3. Mississippi State was favored by 11.5 over Arkansas. They won that game by 4. I actually like the Bulldogs here as the favorite, mainly because this is a revenge game. These two teams met at the end of January in Oxford, and Ole Miss won that ball game by 4 points, 86-82. But Miss State is a tremendous 84-41 ATS when playing with revenge if it was not off a Suets win in its prior game. And similarly, in this rivalry, the revenge-minded team, whether it be Mississippi or Mississippi State, they've gone 33-13 ATS if they were not off a Suets win in the previous game. So I think it adds up for a Miss State win and cover. And then you can also throw in the fact that Ole Miss has been dreadful as an underdog of late, going 8-18 ATS their last 26.
Yeah, Big Al here on Mississippi State here, laid the 6.5 against Ole Miss. Yeah, in conference have been tough here for Ole Miss. Looking at the worst defensive rebounding team in the conference, terrible defending threes, terrible defending twos. That's gonna be tough here in this spot, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get into the, granular nature of those kind of stats that you just threw out. I don't really, care. I mean, I'm looking more at the whole enchilada. So, how many points are you covering the spread by? Are you covering the spread? Or are you not covering the spread? So, whether or not you're a good defensive rebounding team or a good offensive rebounding team means nothing to me. It's just one part of a bigger whole, but I'll take your word for it.
There you go, Big Al here on Miss State here, laying the 6.5 here against Ole Miss. Big Al, have you ever looked at delving into some of the future shares? We hit the All-Star break. Do you ever fire in at the All-Star break if you see some value here on the East, the West to move forward?
I mean, I some years I will. Like if I'm sitting on a futures ticket that's got no chance, I'll then kind of reconsider. Like when I had the Padres, in baseball and they were out of it, I was okay. Who am I going to look at now? But I'm sitting on Boston at 4-1 odds, so I didn't really think twice. I kind of still think Boston's going to win it.
They're 2.5-1 now, you got the number right now. Plus
it means nothing unless they win it. I mean,
That's true.
it's I'm not selling the ticket, so
that's right.
So I guess the short answer is I didn't think about it. I did take a look at the current Rookie of the Year odds, but they're so Wembanyama is a prohibitive favorite right now, so there's no value there.
Baseball, I know you like to give out the seasonal winners. Have you looked at anything in baseball this year yet? I know it's still early.
No, I haven't thought about it. I'm sure I'll think about the Yankees and the Orioles and some other teams, but
Orioles, I think, lost Bradish. They lost a starter to a serious injury. Bradish is out. We'll see.
Go ahead.
We'll see where Blake Snell ends up. He's another piece. A lot of Boris's guys haven't been signed yet, so it's interesting to see his five have yet to be signed.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see where they go. I mean, without Bradish, that could be enough to, because I thought they were one pitcher short to begin with. Even after getting Burns, I still thought they were one pitcher short. But is Means healthy this year?
That's a good question. I haven't heard the news on Means yet. I know. Sometimes these pitchers they need a few weeks. Let me take a look at what Bradish is up to here. I don't know, Means or John Means, right? He let the lefty missed all of last season. I think he was expected back, but he didn't return for the Orioles last season. Means we know going under Tommy John surgery was expected back, didn't make it. Let's see, Orioles eyeing pitching market after Bradish John Means injury. Still, let's see here. Okay, Bradish and Means will start on the injured reserve, so Means will be on the IL when the season begins. And let me see if there's any return. A month behind. He's a month behind.
I don't like getting into those situations, so I'll take a look. Long way to go.
Yeah, so
take a look at it at the end of March.
Yes, they're looking for pitching, and the Orioles they're not the type of team that will spend the money and sign the lefty that's out there on the market, right? One of the Boris's guys, Snell. They're not that type of team.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know what the ownership group what they're going to do.
Well, they're selling, right? That's right. The Angeles
family.
No,
I just don't know what their position is on spending money right now.
You know,
sometimes these teams will go all in when you don't expect it.
That is true. That is true. So yeah, they're going to be without Bradish. Means is a month behind everybody else, so we could probably look like a May 1st for John Means. So yeah, they're kind of hurting right now at the pitch with the pitching right now for the Orioles. So maybe a lot of overs. We'll see how that one rolls. But
yeah, well, I've got the two teams I like for my basketball futures. I've got Purdue, 17-1, and the Celtics at 4-1. So fingers crossed.
Which one do you like the best?
Oh, Purdue.
Purdue, yeah. Purdue. There you go.
I don't even know what their current odds are right now. Probably 8 or 9-1. If I've been looking to see what they've dropped to. But
yeah, after that loss they've had, we'll see where they roll.
I mean that's I don't really care about one loss.
Yeah.
But,
sometimes the market will play games.
No. I mean, last I heard they were like around 9-1. I'm sure it's still around there.
All right. Don't see it up here right now.
College basketball, Vegas Insider.
Teams to win. Let's see where Purdue DK 7.5 to 1 plus 750. But do your line shopping.
Okay.
Get the better numbers. The UConn favorite is still at 5-1.
You got 8-1 at some outlets for Purdue. UConn as high as 10-1 at Bet365 though.
One game changes to can swing it, huh? They were.
No, I mean it's not the one. My guess is at Bet365 is Connecticut was 10-1 before the game. I mean I don't I don't think they changed it. I just think that's just where they're sitting at. They've actually got Bet365 has Purdue as the favorite at 8-1. They've got Connecticut at 10-1, Houston at 9-1, Tennessee at 14-1. So.
Costi chiming in, Orioles with all in caps says, that's his team. They sold, new ownership, splash coming. Okay, so splash coming. So look for a big splash here from the wallets opening here for this new ownership here for the Orioles. Costi already on top of things with his Orioles.
Thank you, Costi.
All right, Big Al here, Mississippi State. Lay the 6.5 against Ole Miss tonight, 9 Eastern time. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at pick.com for tonight's action. Of course, lots of college hoops up there. NBA comes back tomorrow with a 12-game card. Hockey on the board as well.
Oh, jeez.
Big Al, big numbers. Over 2,400 units of profit in college hoops for tonight. And Friday we come back with 10 games in the NBA. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I've got 6 college games, Tony. It's been another good year. 294 and 228 in college and pro basketball this season, and over the last 3+ seasons, based on $1,000 at play, I'm up 174,380. So we'll keep it going tonight. We've got 6 plays on the board, and folks can join, and they can also team me up with one of the other champion handicappers here, like Tony or Mitch. Or Brian. Everyone's doing great, and just we've got a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 handicapper special.
That's right, guys. Got on board with Big Al McMordie over at Pick Dogs. We see the great results here from Big Al. 2,471 units of profit in college hoops, showing great profit for the year. Last 30 days, last 7 days, yesterday, monster performances. Long-term pass will serve you well. 1 month pass will get you all of Big Al's premium plays for 30 days. All his NBA, all his college hoops in there as well. That will get you into the conference tournaments. I'll probably even squeeze in if Big Al has action in the opener between Padres and Dodgers. That's also in there.
I will not have any baseball until mid to late April.
There you go. Because we have baseball. We're doing the countdown now for the start of baseball. They start the preseason tomorrow. Dodgers Padres, I believe, is the game tomorrow. So yeah, they're starting early because they got to play in Korea. Big Al, let them know about your all access.
The All Access, just text Big Al to 775-636-7676, and you've got to be a big player. It's not for the smaller players. If you want, you get all my plays over on the Pick Dogs Premium, but if you're a big player and you want to get All Access, it's 24/7. You can ask me about any game on the board. It can be 5 minutes before 10 p.m., right when a game's about to tip off, and you can call me or text me and ask me what I think. I'm giving you my opinion. Then we also give additional plays beyond what's on the premium side, and all the games are rated so you know which are the 10s, 9s, 8s, all the way down through 1. For example, we had 2 9-star plays yesterday in college basketball on Toledo, and I forget what the other 9-star was. Oh, and Creighton. So you would know that those two plays were rated higher than the other ones, and yeah, it works pretty well. So just text Big Al to 775-636-7676.
All right, guys, make the text, get signed up with Big Al's All Access, big players only. All right, Big Al, it's always great having your show. Continue that great success. We'll catch up with you again on tomorrow's show.
Thanks, Tony. I'll talk to you on Thursday.
You too. Big Al McMordie here on the Drive Thru. Let's continue here on the show. Time for Wayne Scott. You can catch him over at Pick Dogs. We'll bring Wayne in right now. More college hoops action on today's card. Let's bring in Wayne here. Of course, back tomorrow with the NBA as well. Wayne, what's happening?
What's going on, Tony T? What's going on, Pick Dog family? Hope everybody doing good out there today.
Everything's going great. Wayne, we're going to go ahead and move the chains here, get to your game. It's going to be an interesting one tonight. One that I also looked at myself, and I will put you in total agreement here in this one tonight as we take a look here in this one between Air Force and UNLV. This one will be played in Colorado Springs as Air Force won the first meeting as a big dog here, and they're going to be getting points tonight. Now up to 7 here. It was 6 throughout most of the overnights and mornings. I saw 6 in a hook, but now UNLV laying 7 on the road, total 131.
Yeah, man, this line looks fishy right here. Just based off of how good UNLV has been and how Air Force has been playing, I understand why the money is coming on UNLV. 6-4 in their last 10 and 7-3. Been doing a good job covering. They broke a 5-game winning streak by losing to Nevada. We know how good Nevada is. As Tony mentioned, Air Force beat the crap out of these boys early in the season. So revenge aspect on that side of it too. On the other side of it, Air Force has not been playing that well. 1-9 straight up, 2-8 ATS. Just lost to San Jose State on the road. But if you look at the numbers here a lot closer, Air Force only 4-9 at home straight up, 2-11 at home ATS, but they've lost them games by about a margin of about 4 points, and we're getting 6 points here. Air Force is a solid rebounding team. They are the better defensive team, and they're at home getting points here. Offensively, they're not one to brag about, but if they hit their threes, they become competitive in that aspect. This UNLV team is not good from the three, and they're not that good of a rebounding team. They're 6-3 off a loss, yes, but they're only winning those games by about 3 points. When it comes to equal rest, 7-4, it looks good at that spot, but they're only winning those games by 3.7 points per game. 72 points per game. On the other side of that, points per game, 68 by Air Force. That's only a 4-point margin. And as I mentioned, Air Force is the better defense. So I got to take the points right here with the home team and Air Force and kind of fade the public. I know this -7 looks good in this revenge spot, but I'm going to roll with Air Force right here and take these 7 points.
All right, we got Wayne here on Air Force. Go ahead and take the 7 points here in this one tonight. Air Force and UNLV on FS1. Yeah, there's something that Air Force does really well, Wayne, and as they make their threes in conference, as we see right now, they're shooting well over 38%, almost 39% from the three-point line.
Yes, sir. And that 3-point will keep you in the game. We're not asking them to win it, guys. We're asking them to play tough at home. And I think that's what they do here. UNLV is not a bad team, but we've seen, I know they're going to want to come out and play hard, but we've definitely seen them get their butts kicked before in the season. They're not an elite team. They're not a bad team. They're an average team. And average teams on the road, they can come out a little flat. And just giving up 7 points is a lot of points in this spot. I like Air Force to keep it tight at home in this one.
Yeah, that first meeting, 90-58, Air Force wins on the road. And you know what's funny about that game is that when the line opened, Air Force was getting money in that one. I think they were getting like 12. I think it was 14. And at Pinnacle, the sharpest book in the world, they were getting 12.5, and everybody was at 14. So right off the bat, right off the opening, something looked fishy to me that the sharpest book in the world had 12.5. Everybody was at 14. And of course everybody was buying up that 14, got it to 12.5. So right when that line opened, we saw the sharpest book, a 1.5 difference. Of course, with the sharp money come on Air Force in meeting one.
Yes, sir. And people made out if they caught that, if they paid attention to that. Just Air Force, like I said, man, they play a good defense. They held them to 31% from field. I doubt they hold them that low, but just the fact that they were able to do that, they shot 50% in that game, and UNLV only shot 17% from field goal, and UNLV also only 74% from free throw, while Air Force shot 82% from free throw. Now, I don't expect those numbers to be that low for UNLV, but I do expect Air Force to come out here and play defense and hit the three like they did in that game right there. No, the books aren't. Books made a small adjustment, not giving us as many points, but 7 points is a lot for the home team, and even in a revenge factor.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of points there in that game, no doubt about that. As a matter of fact, in that game, in the first meeting, UNLV 5 of 28 from the three-point line, so it was a brutal three-point shooting night. It always just seems that UNLV has trouble with the Air Force. You got the Air Force at home getting 7. Now is where the number is at 9:11 Eastern time. All right, Wayne, let's take a look over at Pick Dog for tonight's action. Of course, we do have action on the board tonight here from college hoops action as well on the ice. Wayne showing great results over the last 7 days, 805 units of profit over. What do you have going over at Pick Dog's Premium?
Yeah, a little bigger card for me tonight. I like this college basketball card a lot. I have 8 plays out there. I have a 5-pack and a 3-pack, and I have my best bet. You should hop on something long-term with NBA coming out. I do have 1 NBA bet out there already for tomorrow and 2 more written up. So I'm ready for this NBA card tomorrow, but not just ready to hop all on the NBA. Another great college basketball card tomorrow. So if you want these plays early before the line moves, look at it long term. If you want to get it day by day, as I said, 3-pack, 5-pack today, and my best bet out there today. Lost my best bet after winning about 3 or 4 in a row. We're still 19-9 in my last 28. Seem to do my math right. 27, 19-9, my last 27. So looking to continue this best bet run in college basketball. Looking to hit this one tonight.
All right, guys, got it both. Wayne Scott over at Pick Dogs Premium. Great results right now here from Wayne, 805 units of profit. The last 7 days, no better time to get on board with Wayne. Those long-term passes will serve you well. 3-7, 30-hour sports pass. Get all of his premium plays for that time. You're just like when you go to his handicapper page and make that purchase. All right, Wayne, as always, great having you show. See that success. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow, but let everybody know we can catch your video series over at Pick Dogs with the boxing.
Yes, sir. The boxing series, as I mentioned on the last show, plenty of boxing coming up in March. So I'll be looking forward to dropping that for you guys. Another Anthony Joshua's fighting the MMA guy. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but the guy who fought Tyson Fury. So a lot of stuff getting announced, and I'll be looking forward to dropping the videos out for you guys.
That's right, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, set those notifications so when Wayne drops those videos, you get them in real time and you get the best numbers. All right, Wayne, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
All right. Appreciate you for having me, Tony T. Good luck with all your bets out there, Pick Dogs, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Here we go. That was Wayne Scott here on The Drive Thru. Guys, if you ever miss a pick, we'll recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. That's right. Rod was having work done in his house. The utilities effort to get the power on. The power was out. That's what I remembered that. He told me that yesterday. So no Rod today. All right, let's continue here on The Drive. Let's bring in Dana Lane. You'll catch him over at Pick Dog. Go up to Las Vegas, Nevada. Hopefully it's clearing up over there. Is it clearing up over here? Dana, what's happening?
Hey Tony, how you doing? Yeah, it's finally clearing up. I spent my whole weekend in Northern California with it raining on me, and then I got home and it rained here. So finally clearing up. I see clouds in the skies now, but also some blue.
Yep, looks like it's clearing up now. All right, hockey on the board tonight. Nice one on TNT. The doubleheader game tonight features the Oilers hosting the Bruins here. Oilers $1.31, total 6.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game because, as most people probably anticipate, this could be a Stanley Cup preview, but both teams really still have some work to do. The Edmonton Oilers just got to keep on winning, and of course they've done that with regularity over the last 23 to 25 games. And honestly, with they having games in hand over Edmonton or over Vegas and over Vancouver, I mean, this is a massive game for Edmonton because you can do a lot of winning, but when you start beating the big boys, and we remember the last time they kind of faced a big boy was in Vegas, and they lost to Vegas. It was broke their winning streak. Now this is going to be like, okay, if we lose to Vegas and then we lose to Boston, yeah, it's nice to get those wins, but man, what happens when we go up against the upper echelon, the upper crust of the league? And I'm not even convinced that Boston is still there. I know they're in the top 10, but I have them 6th in my recent rankings, and I just think that they need this game more than probably Edmonton does. And I know this. Both of these teams are probably viewed as offensive teams, but really both of these teams are much better defensively. And I don't know, outside of that game the other night against San Jose, I don't think Vegas has played all that well defensively. I didn't think they played all that well against Nashville last night. And I've been in the room before. I've been fortunate enough to hear the discussions, not in the actual locker room before game start, but after practice. And when you're playing against a team as dynamic as Edmonton, the talk always is we got to go and play well defensively. And I think that probably is the talk for both of these teams heading in. This is the start of a massive road trip for the Boston Bruins. Not only they play 11 games in the last 19 days, and it's not that the teams are so daunting, it's the way that the schedule works out. I think this is going to be their best defensive effort on the trip against a really good Edmonton Oilers team as a measuring stick for both teams. So I like the under, and there's a reason there's the juice on the under on this the last time I checked. I think a lot of people probably would think that they would go over the 6, but I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, probably looking at 3-2, and whoever wins is going to get that winner late.
Yeah, 6 is at the sharpest point in the world. Everybody else 6.5 with juice. So 6, and you can still find a lot of 6.5 out there in the marketplace. Bruins and Oilers going head to head.
Well, give me the 6.5 then.
6.5, yeah, 6.5. You can find it with about $1.20. So that's a pretty good number there. 6.5 there with Bruins. That's where you're following the sharp money. The sharp money's on the 6. That's the sharpest book in the world. Has 6. 6.5 everywhere else. And a big game here. Edmonton's played only 52 games. That's 6 games less than Vancouver. That sits with right now 13 points more than Edmonton. Of course, you got to win. A lot of teams want to win the division to avoid that 2 versus 3 matchup in the playoffs because you play the division teams in that spot.
Well, it's massive, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when Edmonton went into Vegas and had that win streak on the line. And, I said on this very show, this is a huge game for Vegas because of the games in hand situation. And now that Edmonton's extra feisty now, at least their fans are, that they took Jack Eichel and put him on LTIR, and everybody thinks they're just saving him for the postseason. I don't know if you're in second place on the verge of being in third, if you're taking your best player, if he's able to play, and put him on LTIR. But George McPhee does some magic in Vegas that really makes a lot of people upset. But you're right about those games in hand, and not only do they have games in hand on Vegas, but they also have games in hand on Vancouver. So these are absolutely massive games, and then we go right into the trade deadline. From this point on in the season, almost every game means something, unless, of course, the Sharks or Blackhawks are involved.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, the trade deadline, I believe, is Thursday, right? And then, of course, any moves you anticipate here?
Yeah, I'd love to. I know what teams need. I mean, as far as Boston is concerned, depth scoring. Edmonton, the same thing. I know there was some talk about getting a top 6 forward for Edmonton to kind of put on the line with Draisaitl, but Draisaitl has played some top 3 minutes. And so I think, it's going to be typical. I mean, the upper echelon teams are just looking for depth scoring, perhaps a defenseman. I do worry still going into the postseason for Edmonton, even though I have them number 1 on top of my power rankings. I still do worry about them in goal. I'm not sure if you're leaning on Stuart Skinner. I'm not sure if you're leaning on Calvin Pickard. I think when you play the better teams in the league night in, night out in the postseason, I think that's when those sort of things kind of show up. And I'm not sure I'm not sure Edmonton has the goaltending to take them deep against the better teams. But we'll see. I mean, this is we're in the same. It seems like that the Edmonton Oilers sometimes, Tony, are like the Dallas Cowboys. They have all the talent in the world, and everybody thinks they're going to win the Cup every year and win the Super Bowl every year, and there's something about them. In the postseason, there's these intangible factors. There's this psychological factors, and I until I see the toughness out of the Edmonton Oilers and just not fall apart in the postseason, I think they're the best regular season team, but I don't think I could ride with them in the postseason. And maybe after the deadline we'll see something different. But I know that they need depth scoring and possibly a second line forward, I think is what their focus is. Same thing with Boston, depth scoring for sure. They need to get better on the power play, Tony. I mean, they're one of the worst teams in them. I think they're 26th in the league on the power play. They need to get stronger at the blue line. So I think that that's probably what Boston will be looking at the trade deadline. Some of these teams might not make any moves. I mean, I don't know what Vegas is going to do, but you put Jack Eichel on LTIR, and now all of a sudden you got some money. It's going to be interesting to see what they pull out of the hat because, as we all know, once the postseason happens, salary cap goes out the window.
Yeah, that does. And, of course, a team that's really, with a coaching move, we saw this LA Kings team make some noise here at the end of that road trip. They get a win at home, which typically is a flat spot for them. And they got that win, which now up to 66 points. They have the 7th most points in the Western Conference. So getting out of that danger zone around those wild card participants are the LA Kings with a little breathing room. But how do you see them moving forward?
Well, I still think it comes down to the goaltending. I mean, we've talked about that since day one, and I think that they've done pretty well. It also comes down to playing well at home. They, had that long winning streak on the road to start the year, and not so good at home. So, the one thing I guess I'm happy with, if I'm a Kings fan, is I know that my team can go on the road in anywhere in any environment. They proved that, last weekend against Boston. Being down a ninth game and then coming back and winning. I mean, I think those are things that are character builders. And if I'm a Kings fan, I got to be happy with those wins. But there's something that, talk about being in the locker room or being around a team. I sure would like to know, what the psychology is behind them not playing well at home. And it's not just against teams in their conference or their division, where teams are coming in fired up. They struggle against Eastern Conference teams too. So I would love to know that. But, isn't that interesting? I mean, we're kind of back to where Carolina was a few years ago, where they won all their games at home and couldn't win on the road. Maybe the Kings are in the same situation there. But really, it just comes down to goaltending, playing well in front of their netminders. I love these teams that have a 1 and 1A in goal. And, Rod talked about that a couple weeks ago, that there's not that many teams that do. We'll see one tonight with the Bruins. And I think the Golden Knights have that situation as well.
That's right. These 3 teams most likely playing for one playoff spot. That's St. Louis, Nashville, and Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't really have any. I don't have any confidence in Minnesota whatsoever. I've been on them a few times, thinking, tonight's the night where they're really going to show off, and unfortunately, they just have let me down, and let me down in spots that they should be the better team in, and. To me, I don't think they could make enough moves at the deadline. They could get a top line scorer. I don't know, exactly what their targets are, but I know plenty of times that I've been on Minnesota and they don't give me that feeling that they have in past years. I could really rely on them, or I could really rely on Fleury to come up big in games. I don't know. There's again, so much of betting and so much of wagering to me has always been about psychology and where a team is. And that's actually where I, start most of my handicapping, is which team has a mental edge going into this game. And that's really where I put my first check mark. And I can't say, outside of playing the lower level teams in the NHL, I can't really say that I ever have confidence in the Minnesota Wild going into a game except against the lower level teams. St. Louis is a different story. I think St. Louis will get stronger as the year goes on. They got to stay healthy, but they certainly will put themselves in a position where they could go deep into the postseason in that division.
All right, there we go. Dana here. Bruins, Oilers, the big game tonight, under 6.5, 10 Eastern time, over on TNT. All right, Dana, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for tonight's action. Of course, hockey on the board tonight. Lots of college hoops. NBA returning again tomorrow. Dana's been on the tear last 30 days. 2,626 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium. What do you have going over at the site?
Well, Major League Baseball starts tomorrow too, Tony. Yep. Let's not forget that. Can't wait. I just want to see the number. I don't want to actually be involved. I just want to look at it. But very excited for baseball season. Of course, we got the college basketball 3-pack that will be up and running here. I think one game's already off, but have that. Also have the NHL 3-pack that's up. And always glad when we have more options. So happy to see the NBA come up. Please also, and I thank everybody that has been involved. I mean, it's really been a tremendous response thanks in part to our video series. But that all access pass gives you every single one of my plays for one low price. And of course, you get the Pick Dogs win guarantee that comes with that. So, yeah, I know we all have our specific sports that we like, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter where the money comes from as long as it does.
That's right, guys. Dana is on a tear right now. Get on board with Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs. 2,626 units of profit last 30 days. Get on board. Long-term pass will serve you well. That 1 month pass will get you all of Dana's premium plays for 30 days. Include all the MLB, all the NHL, college basketball. We have high volume sports right now, so it's a great time to get that long-term pass. Even sneak in Game 1 of Dodgers Padres in Korea and that 30-day all sports pass. All right, Dana. As always, great having you. I'm showing 110 on both sides tomorrow, but that's just the opener. So we'll see how that rolls.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that probably is going to move a little bit, but yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, I don't know about you, Tony, but man, once baseball starts, I really don't care if it's exhibition or not. I don't know. There's something about it that maybe it's the thawing of the winter, you know, because we have it so bad here in Vegas in the winter. But I don't know, man. I could just kind of smell that new cut grass from here, and so excited. And of course, we have exhibition games here in Vegas, and hopefully, within the next 4 years, we'll have Major League Baseball. I'll tell you what this. I drove by the Coliseum last week, and it just kind of reiterated things I've been saying for almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
They have needed a new stadium forever, and this is what happens when you sit on your hands and you don't get it done for your football team, not once but twice. You don't get it done for your basketball team. And, where the Raiders used to play, where the A's play, and where the Warriors play are all in the same parking lot.
Yeah.
It's like a ghost town. It's like a sports cemetery there. They do need a new arena, and they dropped the ball on this.
They sure did. You can walk right from the airport over there. All right, Dana, as always, great having you show. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Tony, thanks for having me.
You got it. Dana Lane here on the drive-thru. Let's continue on here. We'll continue on here on the drive-thru. I don't know. I got this. I don't know what was bringing it up. Someone was looking up Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum for some reason. I don't know. That was my phone acting up. All right, let's continue here on the drive. So let's get my pick, and then we'll go to the recap. We got a game here starting here top of the hour. All right, let's bring it up here for a second. And of course, it's time for you guys to go ahead and bring in post your best bets in the chat, and we'll read them off at the end of the show as well. So post those best bets in the chat room. This is not my game. My game is top of the hour, Wofford and Chattanooga. Is what we'll be looking at here for today. Well, let's see if we get back to previous screen here. Well, it's going to be a 7 o'clock game. We have to move the chains here. Should have moved it. Let's get it here. Wofford, Chattanooga going head-to-head tonight in college hoops. And we're going to be on Wofford. No longer 8.5, unfortunately, for my sake here. It's going back to 7.5. This line had moved around a bit here, and it looks like it's going to settle here at, let's see here. Yep, 7.5 here with Wofford and Chattanooga, and tonight's college hoops action. And reasoning here in this game between these two Southern Conference teams, looking at the numbers here for a second here. We're looking here at Wofford, a really good field goal shooting team in the conference, 36% from three, 54% inside. On defense, they rebound and they defend the 2-point line. Chattanooga's had issues with turnovers offensively in the conference and rebounding. They don't really force turnovers defensively. And over their past 5 games, Wofford is shooting 47%, allowing just 39%. They've covered 9 of 14 away from home. Chattanooga in this period is giving up over 45% shooting. So we'll be on Wofford here at plus the 7.5, not 8.5 now. Looks like we've had some line movement in this game. All right, guys, over at Pick Dogs, we got a 3-pack on the board right now. Three premium plays from college basketball on the 3-pack. Remember, all the one-day passes are sold as credit guarantee. They must turn a profit, and the amount you purchase is credit back to your account for side credits. That is credit guarantee. Also on my 3-pack, or you can get on long-term. I have a 3, 7, or 30-day all sports pass. Get all my premium plays for that time period. Just like when you go to my handicapper page, make that purchase. Remember the promo code Pick and Checkout. You'll save that 15% off. All right. We're going to the recap, guys. Be sure to put your best bets in the chat if you would. Chris got us started with New Mexico, laid the 7.5 against Colorado State. Mitch, Miami, plus 6.5 against Duke. Big Al McMordie, Mississippi State, laid the 6.5 against Ole Miss. Wayne on the Air Force, plus 6 against UNLV. Rod going through some issues with his electricity. Dana, Bruins Oilers under 6.5. I'll be on Wofford, plus 7.5 here against Chattanooga. All right. That's good. The one I like the most out of these, I'll go with Wayne's pick here on the Air Force. That's going to do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru, guys. Make sure you tune in and get them on live here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring in our cappers from Big Dogs and Sports Chat Place to go off their plays in real time. Remember to always get started with that morning show live, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time during the week. We've got Mitch, we got Chris, we got Jay. Also, we've got Costi and Romanelli will join them throughout the week as well. Remember the video series, Mitch's 7 picks in 5 minutes, his betting tool show, his roundtable with the discussions, also with the professionals. Also, Jay's jam session returns tomorrow with the NBA. Also, our man Chris, individual picks, as well as around the league from the NHL. Zawacky, A to Z NHL, a pick from every game on the board from the NHL, as well as a parlay. We just talked to Dana with his Against the Public Betting from his video series here on Pick Dogs. Also, we've got Big on McMordie All Access. Costi with his sharp trading plays for you here. Also, we've got Brian Biller. He'll deliver his contrarian sharp plays. That's from Brian Biller with his video series. And of course, we've got our man Nick Menken, his first half NBAs. We got parlay videos from Brad Francis. We've got Mills with his UFC rundown and his prop shop. And of course, we've got a video series here as well from Wayne with his boxing video series. So guys, lots of content here. Make sure you like, subscribe, set those notifications. Be with us to get the plays in real time. All right, let's go through the chat. Get your best bets today from the chat. Friends, Fernando Mendoza chimed in with Miami plus 5.5. Richmond with the steam team there. Mississippi here, lay the 6.5. Alexander Lamberts likes Nebraska money line. Blake likes Murray State plus the 4.5. LC with Charlotte plus 6 against Memphis. Also with Richmond, lay the 5. Ron Crawford chimes in Missouri State plus the 4 in there as well. Richmond here from Blake, lay in the 5. We're getting also Ron Crawford coming at Real Salt Lake plus 1 here. Looks like that is a play here from MLS. Let's see any more best bets coming in. Blake liking that at Mississippi State here, laying the 6.5 coming in here from Blake. Let's see if we have any other best bets coming in. We're getting some here. Chasing the bag here has James Madison here laying the 6.5. Chris White Thunder, Red Wings plus 120. Sons likes Coyotes upset Maple Leafs coming in there. NHL bets 508. Leafs team total 3.5 there as well. Likes Matthews, Canese, point hometown kid in Zona, and Austin's teammate plus money there from our man NHL bets chiming in with his picks as well. Let's see if we have any more coming in here with your best bets in the chat. Looks like we've got them all in. Last check for anybody here. Last one's coming in. He also likes the Missouri State there from Fernando. All right, that's going to do it for our show, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. All right, that's going to do it. Let's bring in our cappers for today.